That sad bus is looking pretty full these days, but there's one spot left for the Astros or the Phillies. Who do you got winning the World Series? We're finally here after months and months, 162 games, and depending on how many games it took you to get here, Houston 7, Philly a couple more, we are finally at the World Series. Give this video a thumbs up if you are excited to watch this and maybe your team's not in it, but you're still looking forward to it. And if you're just supporting the channel, leave a thumbs up. It's the best way to support the video, support the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the content through the World Series. We will be reacting to it. We will be doing live streams. We will be doing all of that, and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure to subscribe and turn those alerts on so you get the notifications when the live streams pop up. And through the offseason, I think you'll want to be here, so make sure to subscribe. So we're going to dive into this thing. We are going to look at both teams. We're going to look at who's hot and who's not, and where certain teams might have advantages over the other teams based on what we've seen this postseason and what we've seen through some of the historical data. I've taken a look at everything, and in the end, we will make a prediction. I nailed the LCS. I had Philly and I had Houston, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Don't ask me about the earlier rounds. Did not have great success rate. Did get a couple, but not nearly enough. But did have the ALCS and NLCS winners, so I'm feeling pretty good about that one. So I'm feeling pretty good about my pick for this one. You'll want to check that out. So let's get into this thing again. We'll move on from the sad bus. We'll see you later, bus. And let's get to this thing. Again, we've got the Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros ready to go toe-to-toe. And let's start with Philly. In the NLCS, MVP Bryce Harper has been doing big things. Yeah, in the NLCS, but also all postseason long. 18 for 43 with 5 home runs and 11 RBI. He's been fantastic. You also had some big clutch moments from Rhys Hoskins. 8 for 44 is not that great, but 5 home runs and 11 runs driven in. That is big time stuff. And JT Realmuto, those eyes. Don't look at the eyes. They freak me out every time I look at them. 10 for 41. Not awesome. Not that great. Again, you'd like that to be a little bit better. But 2 home runs, 10 runs scored for the Phillies catcher. So good things coming there from the offense. And also the pitching has been really good. Led by Zach Wheeler. 1-1. Don't worry about the records. 1.78. ERA, 0.51 whip for Zach Wheeler. He's been fantastic. That fantastic doesn't even do his performance justice. He's been huge. Aaron Nola, 2-1, had the rough start against San Diego, but outside of that, in his previous starts, he's been really good for Philadelphia as well. So that ERA and whip are a little elevated because of the rough start against San Diego. So he will look to bounce back and pitch well against the Houston Astros, and I think he's got a good chance to do so. We'll get into that in just a minute. And Sir Anthony Dominguez out of that pen has been one of the best options for the Phillies. 1.17 ERA, a 0.39 microscopic whip. If you put that whip on the table, you wouldn't be able to see it. You need a microscope. So Dominguez has been nice. And breakout. Maybe it's breakout, maybe it's an arrival, maybe it's on the map, whatever you want to call it for Bryson Stott. 6 out of 30 for the rookie shortstop. He scored 3 runs. He's got 4 doubles, 3 runs driven in. And what I like is his clutch hitting. When he's at bat and the team's behind, he's 2 for 5. When he's at bat and runners are in scoring position, 2 for 7 with 3 runs driven in. He's putting up some tough at-bats. He's playing a nice shortstop for the Phillies. Breakout, maybe I'm getting a little loose with the term breakout here, but he's had a nice series. He's not at the level as the Houston Astros rookie shortstop, but it's been a nice introduction to the national stage for Bryson Stott, and I think that will continue. Let's look at the Houston Astros. Yordan Alvarez did not have a big-time ALCS. but certainly throughout the postseason and throughout this World Series, he's going to be one of the big ones. He is the guy you feel like you got to pitch around. 7 for 29, 2 homers and 8 RBI. But the problem is, if you pitch around him, you've got some other bats that have really come to life here in the postseason. Bregman is 10 for 30 with 2 homers and 7 RBI. Yuli Gurriel, 11 for 30 with 2 homers and 3 RBI. Yuli Gurriel with a really nice ALCS, boosting his numbers even more. Been doing well, but got that production level up in the ALCS. Gurriel has been fantastic. You can't strike him out. You can't strike him out. Go look at the numbers. So Gurriel has been fantastic. And then, of course, on top of all of that, the pitching has been historically good. Now, Justin Verlander's ERA and WHIP don't look great because of that Seattle start, but everybody saw what he did against the Yankees. He was elite. Framber Valdez is putting together something special. This is the new left arm of God or something. I don't know, but he's been just magnificent. 1.42 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. And then Christian Javier was one of my favorite Astros going back a couple of years. I've really liked him. I like that he's getting a chance to start now because obviously there's more impact in that. There's more of a spotlight on that. I like what he's doing. A 1.35 ERA and a 0.75 WHIP over 2 appearances. Had the 1 start against the Yankees and was tough. I mean, he is tough on everybody that he goes up against. And of course, maybe what will help the Astros win the World Series is this lights-out bullpen. This bullpen is just too much to handle. Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, Hector Neris. Yeah, Hector Neris, Phillies fans, he's coming back. Ryan Presley, Hunter Brown, Ryan Stanek, Luis Garcia. Still hasn't started. The only appearance he had, they didn't need him against the Yankees, was in the extra inning affair against Seattle. So you've got this, and you may notice there's a yellow glow, a golden glow around some of these guys. That's because they have not been touched for a run yet. Altogether, this bullpen is 4-0. Well, accounting for 4 wins. Let's not go 4-0. Let's not go crazy. We got all sorts of games here. But 4 of the wins to an Astros reliever. A 0.82 ERA. 3 runs over 33 innings. Good luck. And that's not even going to help you. So, bullpen's been great. And the breakout star for the Houston Astros has been Jeremy Pena. We talked about Stott, the rookie shortstop for the Phillies. Houston's got one on a whole new level with Pena. 10 for 33, 3 homers, 5 RBI. The Game 3 Division Series game-winning home run. He had a couple of clutch hits and home runs against the Yankees. Pena is the real deal. Astros fans were telling me about it all year long on the channel. We were doing power rankings. We were talking Astros all year long. We were watching him. He's legit. He's a good defender. He's a good hitter. He wants the moment. You want a guy that wants the moment. When you got to make a good play in the field, when you need a tough at-bat, when you need a big hit, you want a guy that's cool, calm, and collected, and Jeremy Pena is that. Love it. Love what Pena's doing. So let's get into some of the pluses and minuses. Those of you that have watched all of the previews know what we're about to get into. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. This Phillies team is hitting. 1, 1, 1. Just go up and down. You get the ones. The highest batting average is 237 of the teams that are remaining. And now anybody that might go look at the MLB stats, you might see some batting averages that are higher. I'm eliminating teams that haven't played more than 3 games. If you haven't played more than 3 games, I'm not counting you. Sorry. The Blue Jays have a batting average of 271. Okay, great. Good for you. The Astros have the highest batting average of any team that played 4 or more games. So you got that, 237. That's not great, but that OPS is nice to 749. 57 runs scored is the most runs scored, and 16 home runs is the most home runs. Now, you might be saying, well, Jim, you've told me in other videos that you can't, if you're living on the home run, you're going to die on the home run. But the problem is, or my counter to that, would be that the Astros also have the most doubles. The Astros have 23, the Phillies, the Phillies have the most doubles at 23. The team that's in second, the Seattle Mariners, have 14. They're getting the extra base hits. That's why the OPS is so much higher than the batting average, almost triple, because of the fact that you're getting doubles and you're getting home runs from this Philly team. So the batting has been fantastic for Philly. The Astros side of things it's the next, right? Second in batting, second in OPS, third in runs, third in home runs. So trailing slightly, the Philly bats are the Astro bats. Let's take a look at the overall plus minus. All of it goes to the Phillies here. Let's get to the pitching pluses and minuses, and you can see Phillies doing all right. A 3.06 ERA is good. A whip under 1, you like that. The batting average against is under 2, you like that. Pen ERA 3.19, that's all pretty good, right? 3.4. It's all good. That's a nice place to be. Trouble is, Houston's pitching is better. A 1.88 ERA collectively as a group, a 0.93 whip, a 1.78 batting average against, a bullpen ERA we've already talked about, microscopic with only 3 runs allowed, a 0.82 bullpen ERA. So the pitching goes to the Astros. We give the hitting to the Phillies, the pitching to the Astros. Something's going to break in this World Series. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let's talk about some clutch numbers, because that's what's big. While trailing, the Phillies, 15 for 53. That is a 283 average. That's okay. With runners in scoring position, they're 23 for 78. That's a 295 batting average. That's really good. If you've been paying attention to runners in scoring position, hitting and batting, that's really good. 295, 38 runs driven in those moments. They have 4 home runs in the 7th inning or later. The batting average against, how are you pitching when the other team gets their runners in scoring position? A 2.13 batting average against with runners in scoring position, which is good, in a 1.73 behind in count BIC whip. So when you fall behind in the count, when the hitter has the advantage, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-0, 3-1, whatever it is, a 1.73 whip. For comparison, let's obviously look at the Philadelphia Phillies and see who has the advantage. While trailing, the Astros are 19 for 59. That's a 322 average. But with runners in scoring position, they have not been as good. A 220 batting average is what that 11 for 50 comes out to. Now, late game home runs, 4 in the 7th inning or later, so that matches Philly. The batting average against with runners in scoring position, also good, 229. And this was interesting to me because we talk about how good the bullpen is. We talk about how good the Astros pitching is. The Phillies actually get the advantage with a couple of these clutch stats. They had the lower batting average against with runners in scoring position, and they have the Phillies do, the lower BIC whip, behind in count whip. So let's look at it. Let's put the color on the screen, and there you can see, while trailing, the Astros are doing better, but that's the only one where they win these clutch stats. It's either tied or it goes to the Phillies. So that could be interesting. Is that going to play into the decision when we get into this thing? Now, these two teams did meet, for those of you that have the short-term memory, and the Phillies got 1, the Astros got 2 in a 3-game set that took place at the end of the season. Remember that? The regular season ended with these two teams going head-to-head, and the season in general, the postseason, is going to end with these two teams going head-to-head. Now, in that, you had the Astros take all 2 of the 3 games. They really, it was a 13-5 score difference. They had the 10-run game in that middle game, but outside of that, there were close games. And again, Philly won the first one. They were all in Houston. So it will be interesting. And they were throwing the guys out there. Remember, Philly needed to win games. They had to get in. And Houston was trying to stay loose, trying to keep their timing. You're still throwing Verlander and Valdez out there on games 161 and 162. So the Astros wasn't a laydown situation. And again, Houston got those 2 games. So there is a very recent season head-to-head. It's not like they faced each other in May. They just went head-to-head at the end of the regular season. So that is kind of a fascinating little wrinkle here. Now, against the Astros, how do the Phillies pitchers look up? There's not a lot of data. That is the short of this right here, is there's not a lot of data. Nola looks good. 6 for 46. It's a good start for Nola. 17 Ks, 1 walk. We like that. Wheeler, it's next to nothing. The only players who have an at-bat against Wheeler, Martin Maldonado, Trey Mancini, and Christian Vasquez. That's it. You got Suarez. 8 for 18 is not a good start. Syndergaard, fine. It's not great. Kind of mixed results there. Kyle Gibson has seen the most, because of Kyle Gibson's time with the Rangers, has seen the most of these Astro hitters. 31 for 133, 22 Ks. It's all right. It's really not that great. Altuve's roughed him up. Bregman has roughed him up. Got to him. Gurriel's got a home run off of him. I don't know if I necessarily love the idea of seeing much Kyle Gibson here, but is there any value to him having that much history? Is he able to talk to any of his other pitching mates there and explain how he's gotten Yuli Gurriel 17 out of 20 times? He's gotten Kyle Tucker 11 out of 15 times. Is there any value there? Let's spotlight some bats against those Philly arms. Yordan Alvarez, again, not a lot of history here, but early on, it's favoring Yordan. No surprise. 7 for 17 altogether with 3 doubles, no home runs yet. You see that no history against Zach Wheeler, so that'll be kind of fun to see them square off for the first time, especially with Wheeler pitching as well as he has. Now, how about these Phillies bats? How do the Astros pitchers line up? Verlander, again, not a lot of history. 7 for 38. It's a good start, 15 Ks. McCullers, 12 for 56. It's okay. 18 strikeouts. You like that? Just 1 home run allowed. Valdez, 5 for 36. 16 Ks. Very good start. Christian Javier, just 4 for 9 with 3 strikeouts. So not a lot of data to go on when we're looking at these matchups either. It's kind of a fun, it's almost like a throwback sort of a World Series, even with all the interleague play over the last, however many years. There's still not a ton of data with player movement and interleague play and all that. Only one situation, Kyle Gibson, do we have a pitcher that has more than 100 plate appearances against, or, head-to-head situations against another team. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So let's spotlight Bryce Harper, the big guy, the NLCS MVP. We've got a 2 for 5 against Verlander, a 1 for 3 against McCullers, nothing against Valdez, nothing against Javier. Altogether, 5 for 21, but 6 walks, 1 home run. We'll see how he can do. Brandon Marsh is going to be interesting. Could Brandon Marsh have some kind of impact here? Because he's the bat on the Philly side that's seen a lot of these Astros arms because of his time with the Angels. 16 for 54 is good. That's a 296 batting average, and he's drawing his walks, a 387 on base. He's done well against Garcia, Javier, McCullers. Brandon Marsh could be a sneaky good play in this World Series. He can also go out there and talk to his fellow hitters and say what he likes, what to look for with some of these pitchers that he's familiar with. They're all going to do the tape. They're all going to do studying. But when you're actually in the box, what do you see? Brandon Marsh has the most head-to-head history against these Astro bats. Let's get to it. My pick. Who am I going to go with between the Phillies and the Astros? Again, some of the clutch data favoring the Phillies. Bryce Harper has got to be the hottest hitter in this series. Zach Wheeler is, you could argue, the hottest pitcher coming into this series. But I'm talking about single guys here for the Phillies. I know there's a couple other bats. This Philly team's going to be tough. They have batters that can extend at bats. They have Gene Segura. It's going to be really tough to pitch to in this thing. Gene Segura is a kind of guy that you need. He's going to go out there. He's going to extend at bats. That's what you have to do to beat the Houston Astros. You have to be able to extend at bats. You got to swing and miss. Not a lot. You've got Segura and Stott and Baum that have nice low whiff rates. When you're looking at K rates, because of that, Stott, Baum, and Segura are there. In the postseason, Bryce Harper has brought his strikeout rate because he's hitting the ball everywhere. Nick Castellanos has also brought his strikeout rate down a little bit. You need these guys to go out there and get something done if you're going to chip away at the Astros pitchers. You got to be able to draw walks. We're looking for walk rates of 10% or better. Hoskins does that. Harper does that. Schwarber does that. Real Muto in the postseason has been doing that. So you've got, when you look at what do you need to do to try to beat the Astros pitchers, extend the at-bats, get the pitch counts up, get Verlander and Valdez out of there in the 5th inning, go to the bullpen, hope that the guy that's coming in from the bullpen that day doesn't have it. That has not happened so far, but that's what you're going to have to hope for. And if he does have it, you got to, again, extend the at-bats, put more pressure on him, draw some walks, get that up. Get those pitch counts up to get that guy out of there if he does have it that day. That's what you have to do, in my opinion. You have to chip away, and then you have to do what you do. All those doubles, all those home runs. Bryce Harper, could close his eyes and hit a home run right now. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to do, Phillies, if you want to beat the Houston Astros. And I think you have the lineup to be able to do it. That being said, I have led off videos, I have led off uploads, and I have started it with the words pitching wins championships. And in the end, I think the pitching for Houston will come through. You can see I've looked at this thing from both ways. Listen, would my gut love to go Philly? Sure. I love this Phillies team. I really do. I hate picking against them. I've had a fun time watching this crew. I love everybody on that team. But I'm going to go Houston because I think pitching ultimately wins the day. I think pitching can neutralize good hitting in more cases than not. We got a 7-game. If this was a 1-game situation, maybe Philly could surprise and get that first game. But over 7 games, I expect Houston's pitching to get the job done. Will it go 7? I don't think so. Give me 5 or 6 for this one, but I do think Houston will come out ahead. The pitching is just ridiculous, top to bottom. Everyone that comes in out of the bullpen is killing it. So give me Houston to take this thing and hoist up the World Series trophy at the end of this thing. So comment below. Let me know, who do you have winning the World Series? Are you going Philly? Are you going Houston? I'm interested to see what you think. It's going to be a great one no matter what. This is such a good matchup. It's not like it's two really... Listen, they are good pitching teams, but one team is doing really well with the bats. Another team is doing really well with the pitching. I understand you can say that the Phillies do have some good pitching and the Astros do have some good hitting, but you get the point, right? The Phillies bats have really been the driving force, and the Astros pitching has really been the driving force to get the two teams to this point. Now they're going to go head-to-head. I love that matchup. I absolutely love it. I also love that there isn't a lot of head-to-head data, because you're going to have to go on what do you see and who's coming in, what's the trends, how's everything pacing. So it's really fun. This is going to be a good one. I have to encourage everybody, if you have not yet at this point, to leave a like and to subscribe if you have not yet. Make sure to do that. You made it to the end of the video, so reward yourself with a subscription and leave a like to support the channel. I will add some links to some of the other content that I've done recently for you to check out here now. Again, appreciate you coming in. BALLCAP Nation, I salute you. Thank you for the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.